Hey, what's up, my fearless networking friends? Todd Falcone here, back with another episode. So a couple weeks ago, I was doing what I do, something I teach in my 18 programs, and I've taught for many years, doing this re-engagement exercise, which is just part of my life, where I'm just constantly, staying in contact with people and, fertilizing and watering those relationships and keeping, it's like I think relationships are like plants. They need to be watered, fertilized, tended to. Otherwise, they kind of dry up. So I've always been this guy that just kind of stays connected to people, even when I'm not doing business with them. And so a couple weeks ago, I sent a friend of mine a text. I've known him for probably, 4 or 5 years, and sent him a text message. I was like, yo, what's up? And he's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And he goes, I'm busy, but let's catch up next week. And so the following Monday, I sent him a text. I just said, yo, and then my phone rang. And we had this great 40-minute conversation. And this is a guy that's making probably, $2.5 million a year in network marketing, and done really, really well. He and his wife have done exceptionally well in the business. And we just got into this conversation about business. In fact, I don't know that I've talked to him. It's probably been 10 or 11 months since I had talked to him. And we were kind of talking about, how's business been and what's going on with you and your team. And we just kind of engaged. We got in this chat about moving people, getting people into action. And isn't that like this common question that comes up? It's like, how do you? So I had actually somebody asked me the question: How do you make your team get into action? And the truth is, I don't know that you can. I don't think you can make people do anything. And people have asked me, like, how do you motivate people, Todd? And as a motivational speaker, it's funny, like if I am out talking to somebody, I'm like, hey, they're like, what do you do? I'm like, a motivational speaker. They're like, motivate me. And my smart ass comment is typically, oh yeah, work hard. Just because they're firing some stupid comment at me. Just it's always kind of funny when people respond, oh, you're a motivational speaker. Oh, well, motivate me. But I think we can inspire people to move, but I don't think we can make people move. I really don't. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and I think the individual needs to want it for themselves and want it at whatever level that they want it for themselves. Not that you can't help people see something bigger for themselves or realize that there's far greater potential than they perhaps believe is possible. We can certainly do that, because at my early stages of network marketing, I mean, I thought $10,000 a month was the end of the earth. That was huge, right? And then you start making $10,000 a month, and you're like, okay, it's good, but it's not. I mean, it's not great. It's not even close to great. I mean, I'm not knocking $10,000 a month. Get there and enjoy that, but then you'll realize, holy smokes, it's really not that much money. So we got into this chat about having a bunch of people on the team that many of them are doing a little bit, some of them are doing nothing, a few of them are doing a lot. And he's like, man, he goes, he said, my philosophy has always been, like, if you're at $3,000 a month and you're like, hey, and I'm trying to do things to help you to get past $3,000 a month, and you're like kind of hanging out at $3,000 a month, and you're not really you're good. You're like, I'm good. You got somebody who's making $6,000 a month, and you're like, yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. They're cruising along at $6,000 a month or $200 a month. And yeah, no, I'm good. Well, what do you, if they're good at the moment, okay, not that you're not going to continue to, keep them plugged in and encourage them to do more, not push them and try, you need to show up and do more. You got to do more. That's like, nobody came here to get a job. Nobody came here to be told what to do. So like, what do you do with those people? Well, what do you do is you let them do their thing, you keep them plugged in, and you go find somebody else who wants to go do something more. And he's like, hey, he goes, every time I gave myself a raise, he's like, I'm going to give myself a $100,000 raise this year. I mean, that's a big raise. And we were having this conversation. He's like, I've pretty much decided, like, every year I'm giving myself a $100,000 raise. I'm like, that's a pretty good raise. He's like, sure is. It's like, I got the capacity to do it because, network marketing. And I'm like, well, how did you do that? He goes, I just kept on recruiting people. He goes, it's like, if I recruit you and you don't do anything, I'm gonna, I'll be support you whenever you're ready to go, but I'm gonna go sponsor somebody else. I'm gonna go, and then brings in another person. They do a little bit, and that's fine. I'll support the person doing a little bit. Then I'll bring in another person, and this person does a medium amount of bit, and I'm gonna do everything I can to help the person who's doing a medium amount of bit. Let's just go with it, right? So his philosophy, which is very similar to mine. So I think we definitely are on the same page with, like, if you're gonna grow your business exceptionally, if you're gonna grow a big network marketing business, you cannot stop recruiting. You have to continue to be out there growing your business, because there's always going to be people that, some of them come in, they're hot for a while, then they're not for a while, then they fade out, they fade away, they drop out. Then there's people that come in and do a little bit. There's people that come in and do nothing. And I know, and speaking to some of you have recruited a bunch of people, and you're like, dude, what's up? Like, how come I'm the only one that's working here? I've been there, done that. I mean, early on in my career, I remember, like, seriously, like, looking around going, hey, what is up here? How come I got all these, not all these, but I probably had 30, 40 people in my business, and none of them were doing anything. Well, what do I do in that instance? And if you're in a position right now where you've got, people in your business, maybe a bunch of people, and you're like the only person that's working, well, how are you going to change that? In my opinion, the only way that you're going to change it is you're going to go get another person, then get another one, then get another one, and then another one, and then another one, and another one, and another one, until you find the one that's going to go with you and run. And then you continue to go find another person that's going to come in and run. And the thing, when I was talking to him, he's like, dude, I have just, I've been promoting the business from the very beginning. I've never stopped personal production. Like, it was really interesting how we got into this chat. I don't even know what led us into that conversation. I think we were talking about, like, hey, how's your business been during COVID? It's like, oh my gosh, our business is, our team has grown dramatically during COVID. We've had great gains throughout, the entire pandemic, which he goes, at one point I was kind of feeling guilty about it because there's so many people that were suffering, but a lot of those people that were coming in because they were suffering, because they couldn't work or other things were going on. Now they, it was like, okay, I need to take a look at network marketing. But I think that the main point of my message today for you guys is this. When you have team members that are there and, they're not really driving the business the way maybe you'd like to see them driving the business, you can't force them into action. You can, keep educating them, keep loving on them, keeping them plugged in, keep encouraging them, help them maybe see things bigger than they currently see for themselves. But you can't force somebody to get to work. So if I can't make you get to work, what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go find somebody who will get to work. And I have recruited thousands of people that never did anything. And I can say I've recruited, I would honestly say that I've recruited well over 1,000 people in my career that were fully capable of just getting it done, but didn't get it done because they just chose not to get it done. So what do you got to do? If you're going to grow your business, waiting around for somebody else to activate is not a good thing. Now, it's not a good thing to sign people up and then just toss them in and say good luck. That's not a good philosophy. So a part of our role, obviously, as a sponsor is getting those people in and then helping them to get up and running, to understand the fundamentals and the basics of building a business and being there to support them. It's not, we don't want to be signing people up and then just, pointing our finger and saying, go get them, champ. That's not, I don't know that that's really a winning philosophy. But even if as good sponsors, as good enrollers, and we put somebody in and then they still are making excuses for whatever, and they're just not, they're not either taking any action or they're taking very little action. And if you're taking a little action, I'm fine with it. That's fine for you. If you're taking a little bit of action, medium, high action, that's totally fine. And your business is going to be made up of all of those people. But if you're going to dramatically excel, if you're going to grow a big business, you got to have other people that are driving. You got to have leaders that are like committed. Like I'm going to the top of this compensation plan. Nothing's going to stop me from getting all the way to the top of this comp plan. And the way to do that, and the way this guy's done it, is like, hey, I just keep recruiting. I just keep putting people in on my products. I keep putting people in on my business. And I know that, if I keep putting new customers in, somebody's going to say, hey, man, I want to do this as a business on their own. If I keep putting business builders in, if I keep signing up reps into my business, somebody's going to come in. They're like, man, I totally see this. I'm ready to get going. And then wait a minute. Then they actually get going. So I understand the frustration when you have a small team and then a bunch of them are doing nothing. And, can you go back there and try to give them CPR and get them going? I don't know. I mean, you can probably get some of those people moving a little bit more, but there's nothing better than a new person in your business or a new customer that you put on your products. New stories, new people is going to be the way that's going to lead you to this long-term growth. Because again, people come, people go, people are hot now for a little while, people fizzle out, and it's just the game that we're in. So just don't be frustrated. If you're in that position where it's only you, and it's only you and maybe one person that's actually doing anything, and you're getting frustrated by it, just keep putting people in until you find that one that's like you, because they're out there. And you'll never find them if you stop recruiting. You'll never find them if you stop putting people on your product. So just want to share my little bit on this conversation I had with my buddy who's making big money. It's like $2.5 million a year. Never did network marketing before he got involved in his company. He's been a one and only company, and he's like $2.5 million a year. And his whole philosophy is, I'm constantly putting people on our products and constantly putting people in the business. And as a result, my business continues to grow. So just some thoughts for you guys for the day. So if you're on my YouTube channel, what's up? If you're on my podcast, hey, what's going on? The rest of this episode, there's other details, other resources here on my page at toddfalcone.com/episode 140. Again, TODDFALCONE.com/episode 140. We'll see you soon.